Welcome to Forever Exile, the Path of Exile podcast. I am Justin, aka Tags.
And I am Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Episode 86 of Forever Exiled. I like it too. I like 86 better than 85. I don't know why.
Agreed.
85 just bugs me. Yeah, you're right. That's why. I knew there was something. It's the circles.
Yeah. 75 is pretty sweet though, because it's right on the quarter. But we were talking about that last episode, even though it wasn't a quarter episode. But it is 86, and that's really nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, Justin.
You too, Ty. Thanks for doing 86. Oh, it's like more than that though. We're like at 130 something episodes when you count After Dark. Speaking of After Dark, really quickly, big shout out to T-Bird, new Patreon this week.
Woo!
Sweet. And a couple of resubs as well. Thank you guys for joining back up. If you're curious what our Patreon is, it gets you access to After Dark, which is the podcast after the podcast where we just talk more after this about stuff, things. Last week was literally us building the private league, which we're going to talk about later in this episode. We got our private league coming up in a week. I'm excited for it. So we'll talk about that later on in the episode. But yeah, big shout out to everybody who supports the podcast. You guys are awesome. Thank you much.
Agreed. Thanks also again for all the kind messages you've been sending over the website the last couple of weeks. It's awesome. We hear it all, and Justin shares the really mean ones with me, and he keeps all the nice ones to himself.
A couple of voice messages that were really nice as well. You can leave messages on our website anytime you want.
Yeah.
We listen to them all. Multiple
hand
times.
In hand.
Yep.
We're cuddling on the couch, and we just hit play.
It's true. How was your week, buddy?
Have you seen Raya and the Last Dragon?
Yeah. We saw it like when Disney does their scam thing.
It's
not
like a scam, man.
No, what is? Like they make you pay if you want it like a month earlier, you pay I think we paid $30 to have access to it a month earlier. And the only reason I say it's a scam is because they could just release it a month later, but instead they make it like a giant banner as soon as Disney Plus opens. So it's awesome though. I love
theater money. And instead of spending $50 or $70 for your family to go to the theater, you're spending $35.
I'm not complaining about it. I'm fine with it. But
yeah.
We loved it. We watched it the first night it came out, and then my kids have watched it. The music was so good. It was a really good movie.
Did you cry?
No.
Every time so remember in Tangled, I'm going to embarrass you here. Remember in Tangled, the end of Tangled when the mom and dad are hugging
no, it's not the end.
And they're crying?
It's not the end. It's in the middle where they send up a light for their missing daughter. And I was like, no, I didn't cry, but that gets me every time.
That's a load of crap.
I get choked up.
Anyway, whenever the parents get emotional in shows like this, and there's like, it gets me. It slays me. I actually thought it was, anybody could have written that movie. It was so, the first half of the movie was, anyway, lame, but I loved the ending. And anyway, I couldn't hide my tears.
The music was just awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking about today?
What?
And I think, no, not today, maybe earlier in the week, but Netflix has a couple new movies coming out and a couple of them are kids ones. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder if anybody can compete with Disney on the music side of things.
Oh, they're so good.
Like it's really tough when a cartoony type movie comes out. Disney's music is just really good.
It's solid.
Yeah.
But you know what? Remember Hans Zimmer?
Yep.
He did like The Rock and Con Air and all the music for that. Seriously, look at the music credits of any movie, and I'll bet you 99% of the movies that come out, Hans Zimmer's in there. He's just got his finger in every single movie instrumentally. Oh, get out of here, you and your dirty face. Anyway, I had a good week. I just 20 minutes ago finished watching Raya. My wife's very kind to do the bedtime routine with the kids while I do this. And poor kids, I always have to tell them, like, remember, it's podcast night. So if you have to go back and forth, quiet feet upstairs, right? Otherwise, it's
one day a week.
Bang,
they
bang,
have
bang,
to have
bang,
rules.
bang, and then and then Justin comes on the door, and I threaten them with you like banging on the door, getting all mad. Get down, be quiet. But we played Battle of Middle Earth again on Monday night, which was awesome.
We switched back to the normal version.
That's right. We went to the original, no Rise of the Witch King, but man, so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like a good RTS. And I had guys out, like I was carrying you. You weren't carrying me.
You weren't carrying anyone, but you did have guys, which is a shocker. That never happens.
I also had banks. But besides that, it was like a normal, uneventful week. Family, house stuff, until the kids went to bed. And then after that, it was either PoE or F1, because some of our friends are really into the F1 game. And we stopped by my mom's house and visited inside
Oh, cool.
for the first time in 18 months.
Wow, she probably loved that.
Like we're allowed to now where we're from, just in case whoever's listening, their restrictions are quite different than ours. The goal in our province of BC is it's a 4-stage system, but hopefully things are going to be back to normal
September 7th.
September. That's right, just in time for school. But we're allowed to visit with special families and such. So I got to see Mom hug my wife and my kids,
Yeah,
and
she
my
probably
sister
loved
do the
that.
same. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So it was nice to see that kind of normality come in and see how important it was to everybody. So it was a good week. I guess that was a pretty big highlight, but it was a good week. How about you? Anything for you as your lights go on and off with your probably your phone?
I was fixing with my phone, yeah.
Yeah, of course you were. Yeah, you water your lawn with your phone.
That's what I do.
You turn on your lights.
Why
Yeah,
would
do
I
you,
get up
like,
to hit a switch when I can just be like, doot?
Do you use antiperspirant or deodorant? Do you do that with your phone?
I put my hands up and the machine just like goes over top of me. Takes care
You
of me.
should have been born in the time of the
Jetsons.
Jetsons.
That would have been glorious.
That's right.
Would have been glorious. I plan to live that long anyway, so
You're going to. Yes, of course you are.
what my week was insanely busy for work as markets shift and things happen, as we're allowed to get outside and we can see people, and so it's been a really busy week. And then so I saw I know you're interested on my health goals and
Justin, I need to know.
I know. Let me tell you, Ty. So I got to meet with I'm just going to call him like a naturopath. There's a term for it, but I can't remember what it is. It's like a something doctor. I wish I could remember the term, but it's like a
witch doctor.
Yeah. Voodoo. Like he does like potions and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I met with him today because we had done some hormone testing maybe 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Met with him today, figured out all my levels, and then started on a plan for the next 2 months. So I've got a 2-month plan. I'm not sure I'm going to make it because I'm taking some hormones now to start like getting my levels balanced, and then we'll see. The goal is in 2 months that then we can start figuring out how diet and exercise and other things can try to maintain those levels, getting the body to start producing some of these hormones on its own.
Diet? You're changing your diet?
I've already changed my diet. My diet's like vastly different than even 6 months ago. But 2 of these types of things. So one, there's a number of them, but 2 of them, testosterone and human growth hormone, I'm not sure I'm going to survive because I have to give myself a needle every day.
What do you do? You're crazy. Every day you're giving yourself a needle. It's not even like you go to the vitamin store and you put in a shake.
Nope.
Okay.
It's every single day. This human growth hormone is the needle one, and then every Monday, Wednesday, Friday is testosterone, and then there's other ones, but they're like not a friggin' needle. I don't have any problem with needles, except I don't know how I could give it to myself. You know what I mean? I know what's going to happen. I'll sit there with a sweaty hand for an hour in my kitchen, just being like, just do it. Just do it. I know I'm going to have my wife do it. She's like, I'll do it. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you would. Didn't even pause at all.
Is your will done? Because it might be intentional.
Well,
sorry. True. Did I accidentally scrape that across your entire?
Yeah, exactly. How many times do I put this in?
That's right.
You can't kill anybody with a 5mm needle. The needles are like itty bitty, but
if she wanted you dead.
Yeah, I'm not sure. She wanted you dead. But so I'm a little nervous about that. I'm not sure if I'll be able to keep it up or even do it at all. But it was wickedly expensive because there's no coverage out here for that kind of stuff. Like insurance doesn't cover it.
No, there wouldn't be.
Well, there kind of should be. I think there should be. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you laugh, but if somebody actually, I don't thankfully have any serious deficiencies, but if you had some serious deficiencies in some of the hormones, it's terrifying to think of what somebody would have to pay, like if they needed to actually for their health do it. I'm not in that boat. I'm doing this because I want to.
100%. Yeah, that's why
it made me a little nervous to think like, holy crap, if somebody actually needed this.
Yeah. But that's a different story, and maybe there are things for that.
Then you would laugh right in their face.
No, okay. I wouldn't. I'm laughing at yours. But I am excited. If you can, you know what, Justin? I guarantee that if you can put a needle in yourself, you will live forever.
We're going to find out next week. I'm terrified.
I think you can do it.
The day that this comes out, it will have already happened, and I will probably still be standing in my kitchen sweaty by the time we get ready to.
in After Dark, I'm asking you how much this is going to cost you.
Sure, I'll tell you about an After Dark. I'll give you a vague, a vague discussion.
Give me a certain number of digits.
Okay.
Whether it's 1,
how many
2,
cars
3, 4.
could you buy per month?
Yeah, that's right. 20 million. That's
okay.
a lot.
And then I have to tell you a really funny story. So we're testing a new phone system for some of our remote staff this week.
Okay.
And so most of it works through the desktop and an app on the phone and stuff. But part of it actually comes with a physical phone. And it's a nice phone, connects wirelessly in your house or through the network or whatever. But it looks like a house phone, you know, or like an office phone. It's got a digital display on it. It's got the physical buttons and then the handheld piece, right? I hook it up in my kitchen as I'm testing it. And my daughter, who is 6, I want to make sure I get the right age. She's in grade 1. She comes in and she looks at it and she's like, what is that? And my wife and I are like, what do you mean? It's a phone. And she's like, well, how does it work? And so my wife helps her pick up the handle and she puts it up to her face and then she helps her type out my cell number, right?
Yeah.
And I'm standing in the kitchen as well. So my phone rings, I pick it up, start talking to my daughter and just, we're joking and laughing. And then I had work to do. So I said, okay, love you, bye. And I hung up my phone and she says to my wife, he hung up. He hung up. What do I do? And we both laugh and we're like, well, hang up the phone. And so she takes the thing away from her phone or from her head, sorry. And she looks at the thing in her hand for about 4 or 5 seconds. She's just staring at it. And then she looks at it and she goes, hang up. and then she just puts it on the counter and she's like, okay, I'm done. And we're like, what? No, like you got to put it back. I just thought it was hilarious because they just don't know what they are.
No.
It floored me because it makes sense. Obviously, they don't really see stuff like that. They see cell phones and
totally.
But oh man, it made me laugh.
You should see what happens when my wife brings out her actual camera for photography. The kids had no idea what it was because every single phone or picture and video is done with cell phones, right? We don't actually have a real camera. Well, we do, but she doesn't use it. What was it? Her Nokia fancy pants. She knows all that kind of funny stuff. Anyway, she has it. She finally brings it out for some nice family pictures or something. And the kids are like, what's that?
Really? That's hilarious.
Because they're just used to phones. Yeah. So, or not phones, but anyway, yeah, I think that's awesome.
Even if you go, it's really funny because if I go back even way further, so Ethan's 19 when he was in kindergarten. So kindergarten's 5. So this is like 14 years ago. I took him to school every morning. I would take him and it was half days at the time. So you'd take him in the morning and then pick him up at lunch or whatever, right? But I think he did the afternoon or something. I don't know. They didn't do full days back then. It was stupid. But I was taking him to drop him off. That's what it was. Dropping him off at lunch. And for some reason that day, I just happened to take Christina's car. And back then she had a Honda Civic, 2001 or something, Honda Civic. It had manual windows, right? Now, Ethan, this is going back 14 years ago. I have him in the car. He hadn't been in her car, I don't think at all yet. I go to take him to school. We're sitting in the parking lot and he is playing in the front seat and he's looking at this thing and he's like, what is this? And I'm like, it's for the window. And he's like, how does it work? And I start showing him, he's like, you have to turn this thing. I was like, oh my God. And that's 14 years ago.
That's awesome.
My kids now, like my younger kids now would just be out of their minds.
I'm out.
No, I don't want this.
Not doing it.
I don't want my window down. I changed my mind. I'm going to sweat.
That's right. Yeah. It's crazy. Your girl's 1 month older, but a year ahead in school with how our system works, eh? 1 month older.
Yeah, it's crazy.
She's a year ahead of my boy. So they'll never, ever know each other because that's what happens in grade school. But awesome week, man. I'm glad you're living forever and good luck not dying by the hand of your wife.
But yeah, if I'm not here next week, you should check with her. Although she's going to be loaded.
Oh, no.
So
we've got a plan. We've got a plan. I won't be surprised. I'll be surprised.
All right. How was your PoE week, Ty?
Played with Chris this week, which was
nice.
nice. It seems like maybe he's really faking it and he's just has no idea how to say no to me, but it seems like he's enjoying the game. And so we got to Act 4. Man, we're like almost an act a night every time we play now. Yeah, so it's only... Yeah, so we got to Act 4. And
what's he playing again?
He's doing a caustic arrow trickster.
Right, yep. Okay.
Yeah, and it's actually really good for new people because it gives you the movement speed to get out of the way. And it gives you don't have to, he's actually very good at his aiming and getting in there, but you don't have to spam it. You could just shoot it and run around. And and it's great for leveling a huge AoE. I'm still surprised an AoE that big isn't reserved for level 28 when a lot of the melee AoEs are out there, right? Like I could see Ice Shot at the beginning, which I think it still is. It was way back in the twos when the last time I played Ice Shot, but so I'm surprised Caustic Arrows at the beginning. Not complaining, absolutely love it. Great for leveling, and so he seems like he's really liking it. I'm doing a tank build. I'm doing a champion. It's going to be in, if we ever get there, in the 90s, it'll have all the aura investment nodes on the tree. I'm hoping just to be a good buddy, and my idea is to just constantly taunt, so he can run around and kill stuff, and all taunt, and every now and then hit molten shell. So
is this standard or league, or how did you guys set it up?
It's standard. We there's no way we play often enough for it. I think we played once in what was before Ritual Heist.
Yeah.
I think we played once in Heist, and then once Ritual started, we played I think once, maybe twice in Ritual, but it was in the standard league in 3.13. And
it makes sense if you've already started the character to play it in standard, yeah. Especially for how often you play it, yep.
Yeah. So actually, something funny happened to me on Reddit, and I absolutely loved it. So somebody posts, and I actually really like the bragging posts where there's just an epic item. I know, like the founders of, I know the founders of PoE are just all about that, like sharing and bragging about your item and checking it out. So anyway, someone says, finished my challenges for the league, decided to spend some currency on this crafting thing, and I made some fast run boots. I don't know if you can see the picture, but it has 10% increased movement speed if you haven't been hit. Gain elusive on critical strike. I forget if elusive gives you movement speed or not. Has 28% movement speed. Has 11% movement speed if you haven't been hit recently. Has 8% chance to get onslaught for 4 seconds on a kill.
Which is movement speed.
9% increased movement speed while you have onslaught. 25% increased effective tailwind. And you have tailwind if you've crit. And so anyway, it's fast, right? It's really fast. And now this is really at the bottom here. I think I wrote at some point like, wow, those are amazing. But hang on, let me
clicky.
Yeah, well, edit it out.
You could have just, planned for this.
I did. I was talking about Chris and I. So anyway, so I say that's amazing. That has 2 upvotes. Obviously one's mine by default. So really, really awesome. But I mean, there's a billion posts here. But then one of the first posts said you should put a warning on those boots that says boots may cause motion sickness. Or what does it say? Should put warning. Boots may cause motion sickness. That got upvoted 128 times.
Mm-hmm.
All I wrote was, haha, perfect. Now, there's a bug on the mobile Reddit, on the Reddit app on mobile, where a lot of the times it's just not going to send, right? Like I'll do a reply. It'll say, sorry, something went wrong. So then you'll do it again and submit it, but it does double post it.
Okay.
So it shows up as twice. So I said, haha, perfect. Now, I don't know if my name's known in the community or not. I know sometimes people recognize me. A lot of the times people don't. So I don't know if this got upvoted because people know I can't handle fast. But I wrote, haha, perfect, and it got upvoted 120 times. That's all I said to the motion sickness. Now, the funny thing is, because it double posted, because I had that error happen to me on my first post, I had haha perfect show up 2 times under just that post of warning may cause motion sickness, which wasn't even the original post. And somehow it ended up to be a goal for people to downvote one and upvote the other equally. So it's at like 120 downvotes my first post and 120 upvotes my second post, and people have been replying, like trying to get it the same, and it was kind of funny. It was a fun little Reddit experience, because I know people are ragging on Reddit all the time, myself included, but I thought like that was kind of fun.
People rag on Reddit? What?
No, they don't. But I thought it was fun. So that was part of my PoE week. Just if you really wanted to know, what else? I did play some PoE. I think I got in 3 good sessions, but it was a lot of testing.
There was a lot of console too. Ugh.
Well, yeah, play on PC, I'll play on PC. But I'm excited for the private league. But it was a lot of testing again. I'm not content with my guides, and I'm having a hard time with the choices. I don't know how much time you want to put into this, but my Bone Zombie guide is rock solid. It can do all content with such a small investment, and it's so easy to scale and improve. The zombie build's just awesome. So that one's great. It's pure physical necromancer, and it's really, really good. The only thing it can't do is physical reflect, but it everything else it can handle. But the other ones, like my Righteous Fire Elementalist, I really like Righteous Fire with both the Trickster and the Elementalist, but to me they're more movement based. They're not tank based. They all have some really good pros and cons to those ascendancies when you're doing them as Trickster or Elementalist, but for me, with my slow play, my slow reaction time, I need something that's more tanky. So I've had my RF guide as an Elementalist for 3 leagues, and a lot of people have had a lot of great success with it. They're going into the high 90s with it. They're, giving praise, that kind of stuff. But me, I can't do anything with it. Like, I have a good time with it, but I die more than I'm comfortable with. And I still have a lot of fun with it, but I think the experiment's over. And so I am going back to Chieftain, and I've been playing a lot with the RF Chieftain, and I'm loving it. It's going to be coupled with Incinerate, which is great. So it's not even going to use Elemental Equilibrium. It's just going to be a very carefree. You don't have to worry about, having cold or lightning, having an added fire mod to anything. And so it's going to have that boost to single target damage, which is really nice. It'll be capable of standing still in really harsh content. So I am really liking it, as long as, of course, 315 doesn't change any of that. But so there's 2 of my guides, and I like having 3, maybe 4. But what I'm really finding, and I'm really disappointed with it because I'm such a curse lover, but investing in curses really spreads you out.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're going for curse efficiency, and granted, there's not too many of them, but it does spread you out and force you on certain paths when you're on the tree. And if you're really trying to min-max your curse efficiency, you're obviously going occultist, and then you feel kind of trapped. Okay, well, I have to do chaos or cold damage, just with how that ascendancy works, right? Unless I guess you could go curse efficiency and then energy shield, like CI or something. But for the most part, if you're wanting to take those damage nodes at the bottom, you're either going curse on the left or cold on the right. And so with an occultist, and then you're kind of spreading yourself out, you're kind of forced to take these paths to reach these curse efficiency nodes, and there's not a lot that interests me there. And I'm finding with just how spread out I am after I get my life, my mitigation, and my curse efficiency, there's just not enough there for me to be content with. Or I guess, let's say, the investment into curse efficiency doesn't give the curses, in my personal opinion, in my theory crafting, it hasn't given me enough damage to really be able to do the content very well. I've min-maxed it to the best that I can in terms of getting it, and I think like Animate Weapon has really done a great job scaling it, but it's still not enough. And so it's kind of makes me sad because I really want to have a curse efficiency build that is good on both, but I just can't find that curses reward you with enough offense with how much those curses improve. Like if you were doing like Frostbite, or even if you were doing Frostbite coupled with Elemental Weakness or something, it's still how much those improve with the curse efficiency nodes isn't enough to value the investment for me. It's not really a complaint to the balance of it. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Like it's not a complaint per se, but it's just, if I'm going to invest that much and force myself on this path to get those nodes near Whispering Doom or whatever it's called, where I get the extra curse allotment, and then down south near Constitution to get that one, and then up near the Golem one, up the Golem cluster, there's another curse efficiency node close to where the Hex stuff is now. And if I'm forced to go along those routes, I'm finding that I could just cut those right out, ignore curses, and I'd have a way stronger build. Whether I was doing Temporal Chains and Feeble, even going offensive, I mean, I think you could probably couple 2 offenses together unless you're doing marks. Anyway, that's a really long way to say it. It's not, the efficiency of it is winning over my desire to force myself to have a curse build now.
With curses, you can use them at any point, but if you want to use them where you're talking about, where you actually want to commit something to it, there's not enough of a, I don't know, reward, or there's not enough of, you don't get a big enough benefit for how much you're actually committing into it currently.
Right. And who knows how 4.0, or what's it going to be called, PoE 2 is going to change curses. But if you're doing a curse setup, you're playing by yourself. And sure, a lot of people play by themselves, but one of the big complaints for when zombies was a big curse focus, and now this, Animate Weapon curse, I have to play by myself. I screw over other builds
talked about this
when
lots.
I'm playing with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have. Well, I guess it's actually been a while.
It has been a bit,
yeah. And there's no way GGG doesn't know, right? It's going to be in their plan somewhere along the line, but you have to make do with what you have until whatever it is comes into play. And so I've kind of just have I think this is going to be the last league for the curse focus, even though it's one of my favorite parts of the game. And so now I'm like, okay, well, where am I going to go with that? Would love to do like a raider trapper, right? Maybe a saboteur. Like it's pretty strong, but it's pretty stapled. So it'd be kind of cool to do because they have what's that trap support that gives you frenzy charges all the time? Charged support,
I
charged
don't know
trap
the name
support,
of
or
it.
something
Yeah.
like that. Anyways, pretty new, and I haven't done traps since before 3.0. So it'd be cool to do like a raider trapper or, the champion surprise party that I've been testing out. But anyway, it's been a lot of that. I didn't mean to go on and on, but my brain as a guide writer, I'm like, okay, I got like, what is it, a month to go for the next one. If I'm putting out a new guide, I got to start it now. And I obviously want to min max the general aspect of how I go about the guide. So yeah, it was a lot of testing and I had a lot of fun, but I have more. Every time I finish playing for testing purposes, I always have way more, well, than I started with. Did you play at all this week?
Nope, I didn't. I didn't play. I didn't play any Path of Exile. I had some thoughts regarding the private league, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
I thought about it once.
Yeah, that was there's no way I would play leading up to a private league. For me, I just can't do it because I really want to have a good time in the private league.
Yeah.
But I did actually try a game, which I could have brought this up in How's Your Week, but in the downtime that I did have during the week, I played a game called Satisfactory. And it's an early access game, but and I'm not gonna say much about it. It was actually really, really fun. I don't know how to describe it. I literally can't even think. You're stranded on a world and you're building up factories with resources that are found throughout the world, and you have to find ways of transporting them to wherever you want to build your factories and blah, blah, blah. And there's a huge progression to it. But it was very chill. But for an early access game, it is one of the... Okay, so two things. One, I haven't gone into a game before, and I can't even think how long without knowing anything about it. Like literally just, it looked cool. I thought it looks chill. Maybe when I need to just relax in the evenings, I can play it for a little bit. And that's all I knew about it. I didn't look into it. I didn't read anything about it. I didn't try to figure out like what are the smarter ways to do things because it's very different how you could play it. And it was a ton of fun. Total blind. I still haven't looked into anything about it. I'm just going to be convinced that how I'm doing it is the best way to do it. And I'm fine with that. But
Nice.
Also for an early access game, for as confusing as it could be, it is so fleshed out.
Really?
Like things that I would have thought maybe would have been on the back burner or something that they just hadn't brought into it yet worked. It floored me. I couldn't find anything wrong, or I didn't run into any sort of bugs or anything playing an early access game that is
so
that
they're
big.
basically like looking for feedback or hoping somebody finds something, but they're pretty confident with the state of the game.
It was crazy. I was really impressed. I just hadn't played a game like that in a long time where it was just completely anything I thought of in my head that I was like, oh, I wonder if this is going to work or if I'm going to screw. It worked. They had figured it out.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
I didn't play Path of Exile much because I was more thinking about what I was going to do for our private league, which we're going to chat about soon. But playing it, no, I couldn't. Leading up to a private league, I gotta take a break so that I'm fresh, especially for this private league.
Yeah, this one. Some positive and negative feedback.
It's awesome. It's all positive. Let's talk about this week in PoE.
Console hasn't had a patch
Nobody
yet.
cares.
It's still on 14.1c. And there wasn't a PC patch all week. Not one. So you know what I'm thinking?
Tell me.
I'm thinking like, I feel like I said this last league. Maybe around this time. Are we at the month and a half, 2 month mark of this league? Yes. I guess it's not 1 month because we just have, I think we're probably going to start seeing some promo pretty soon. But anyway, it seemed like I think I remember saying last league, the last month, there was no patches, there was no nothing. And we were talking about like, okay, maybe this is the new mentality of how the quality is going to work there. It's just, all right, this league's done. Hope you're still enjoying it. We're still going to pay attention to it. But it's crunch time for 3.15. So anyway, there was no PC patches this week. Do you know what method is? Do you know what that is?
What method is? Like, are you talking about like
the gaming? Not the term, but there's like a gaming.
Oh, there's
community.
like a team, like a
yeah.
They're like a I don't know how what you the term would. They're like a team, and they have streamers and stuff that are members of their team. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so they really like their RPGs along with a couple other genres. And I saw that Gazi, a popular, most people listening would of course know who he is, but Gazi, one of the popular members of the community for Path of Exile is now, and it looked all cool and fancy and important. I'm like, oh my goodness, he's probably a millionaire now or something. This is exciting. But he had this sweet stance, sweet shirt, sweet uniform. It was
There's a couple
awesome.
PoE people that are part of their thing. I don't know what that does besides maybe they do something to help them find like advertisers and stuff. I'm not really sure.
I don't know, but congrats, Gazzy. That seemed pretty sweet.
We assume it's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Congrats.
We're happy for you.
Yep.
And I should have brought this up with the last one. GGG hasn't responded or made a Reddit post in a week.
They've given up.
It's like they go in waves, but you know what? This is almost like now we actually get to have our own subjects this week, right? No patches, no Reddit posts. What are we going to talk about?
I know.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's right. No patches. What do we do?
Oh, no!
Ziz has his gauntlet coming up,
Mm-hmm.
which starts on the 12th. This is, I think, his third gauntlet that's coming up. It's not my cup of tea. It's way too crazy mods, way too hard. It's hardcore. That's a whole lot of nopes for me. And I'm just not interested in playing something that is like, I don't have the time for it. And I know it would make me angry, and I would rather not be angry playing Path of Exile. But I know there's a lot of people that are super pumped about it. And I think it's really cool. I'm a little curious that it's an event that Grinding Gear Games is doing. Now, there's one side of that is that's really, really cool because they're getting involved.
What do you mean Grinding Gear Games is doing it?
It's not a private league. It's when you open up the Path of Exile game and you're at the character selection now, you'll actually see an event that is across everyone. Nobody has to join into his league. There will be an actual button that you click on to join the gauntlet event, which means there's no cap on how many players. The point system is actually somehow they're helping in the back end keep track of like how the points work for levels and all that kind of stuff. But it's not a private league. It's an actual event, part of the actual game. When you go in, just like you would pick, when we start a new league or whatever, you're picking down at that bottom right to join into this event that's happening. They don't use it very much because they don't do events very much anymore, but it's its own thing down there.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome because they're obviously showing some interest in it, and it obviously is a big deal for them because a lot of people like to play it. I'm curious going forward for them, how are they going to determine what is an event and what is a private league though? I don't want to cause an issue. I don't want people getting all bitchy about stuff because that's not what I'm trying to do. I think it's really good. It, I imagine, saves him a boatload of money because he doesn't have to pay for a private league now. And I know that was a big thing that came up last gauntlet for him, that some people were on one side or the other. But when I saw that it was built into it, I was like, that's awesome. But how does Grinding Gear Games pick who and what events make it into that? And which ones don't make it into that?
Is he going to have that treatment every single league now? And how? Yeah,
which, yes, of course.
I could see other people that definitely put a lot of time and effort into their own events as well. Hopefully, not taking it personally, but at the same time, doing their best not to have a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, the only thing that came up to me was like, I'm really curious what's the line in the sand for them where they say this is the one that makes sense for, because they've not done it before. So there's obviously something about this event besides the fact that it's big, but there's obviously something about this event that makes them go, yeah, we're going to make this an event instead of making this a private league. And then I'm also kind of curious how much input he actually had to the idea that now there's a increased area of effect mod to private leagues, because in his video, he says that he asked them for that.
Really?
Yeah. So then
he asked them for an increased AoE.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not influence though. It could just been a really good idea.
Sure. It's not a bad idea. I would never do it, but I'm sure for those crazy people.
I would not either. That's one of the most dangerous things in the world for a slow player like me.
Right.
Dun, 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 dun. Holy smokes, that's dead.
Yeah. At Zeri. Good God.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's cool. I know a lot of people are excited to play it. It will definitely not be for me, but it's cool. And it made me curious though, as to what's the threshold for them for saying this is now an event versus this is a private league.
Yeah. I don't think they need to explain themselves though. You pick who you want and it's your business and you do it the way you want. Yeah. Oh yeah. I would be too. Especially if I put on my own content too. Did you see the prizes?
They're always crazy. I didn't pay attention to
They
it.
seem to be getting crazier and crazier.
That's
It's
awesome.
nuts. Yeah, it's so cool. There was like a shiny computer, Justin, with
But
lights.
you got to get to like certain level thresholds, which in that I would not
with my
clear
eyes
strand.
closed.
Never. I wouldn't leave the first zone. It would make me angry as heck. It's like, and in his video, he's like, we decided this time to just go with -20 instead of -40. I think it is resists off the bat. Amongst all the other stuff, increased elemental, increased damage, increased monster health. Now we've got area of effect. Nope.
There are people that really succeed well in that stuff. And
Psychopaths.
yeah, we don't like you at all. If you are better than us, you are not liked.
I'm impressed.
Okay?
It's cool that he does it. I like that people like it. It for me is something to watch. I would never compete in it ever.
Yeah. And did you see they also announced Lighty? I guess there's a couple ladies as Shaq mentioned in the community, but Lighty and Slippery Jim's charity event.
That's cool.
Where they're going to be providing, what was the Able Gamers? They're going to be providing all their cash, all their earnings to Able Gamers, which helps, well, basically those that are disabled or can't or find it difficult to game.
Apparently there's like a special Microsoft controller that's made for people like that. And he was talking about it in the video. I think that's cool. Good for them.
I thought that was really awesome. And I hope that I hope that kind of stuff, especially the charity stuff, gets a lot of attention, a lot of good feedback, and
starts
it's
today.
Successful. And yeah. And I hope it gets successful so that it can run league by league anyway, whether it's covered by GGG or not. We didn't mean to like compare the two or anything like that. It's just they're both announced this week. They're both coming out. They're both awesome. And I really hope that the charity one really gains ground. I think that stuff's really awesome.
Yep, good for them.
It looks good all around. I think it's great. And Justin, there was a post. I thought of you immediately. As soon as I saw the post, I put it in Trello for our notes here. There's an opening for your dream job at GGG.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see it?
I didn't see it until later.
It's for customer support.
Yeah. So I love this.
Pack your bags.
I have to bring up a couple things. So one, first off, I was scrolling through Discord this week and I saw a post from Theta, and he actually said in the thing that, hey, they Grinding Gear Games has the like that the perfect job for tags that's come out, and it's customer support. And I read that part and it made me laugh. Oh no, he said, I personally think GGG should hire tags as head of community relations. That's what he said. And I saw that and I started to laugh, and I wrote in Discord that I think I stress you out anytime I respond to people in the public, because I'm not great at having a filter, and customer service is the least, like, it's not, that is the last thing I would stab myself with 1,000,000 needles before having to be customer support of any. I'm just not good at it.
You're there, you're about to give yourself a needle, but you've been there for an hour, you're giving yourself a pep talk, and all of a sudden someone's like, okay, just you're up for customer support. Oh, what?
Hold on. Gotta go to the hospital. See ya.
Yeah.
But then it was so funny. So I just joked about the fact that, I didn't think you would like me responding. But he then put an example of somebody saying, here's an example. Somebody's writing.
Say their name. Their name.
PoE Whiner 69 is the name of the person. Is his example, saying, GGG, fix your game with an @ symbol, 3 exclamation marks, and a bunch of ones. And then my response is, dear Whiner, sorry for not fixing the game quickly enough. Much of our resources are tied up in fixing your face. It needs a lot of work, so this could take a while. I laughed out loud while I was in my car, and then I ran into my wife a little bit later and I showed it to her. I read it to her, and she was like, wow, he got you like bang on with how your response is. And then I got on here tonight and I saw that you had a thing about my dream job, and I was like, did you do it at the same time? Like after, and you had actually done this even before the Discord thing. So
yeah,
clearly people get me.
you wear it on your sleeves, buddy. You're right out there. No, I think that's hilarious. And I can't imagine how much, like, when you're working on the community support, even just the customer support, let alone like having a more in-your-face job like those that respond on Reddit. I mean, obviously Bex is the first person that comes to everyone's mind. She has a big team under her now, it seems like. And so imagine the stuff that they would say if they didn't have a filter
Oh, it'd
and
be
it
awesome.
wasn't their job on the line, it wasn't the company reputation, like how many times they have to put their phone down or push their keyboard away. Like they probably have their own special punching bag section in the rec room. Yeah,
I
where
hope they have like
is.
another section, like it's a WhatsApp chat group, and they just post what they would want to say in that to each other, just so that.
Yeah. F you, PoE Whiner 69. Oh, your mom.
It's funny too, because this week I messaged you saying that I was practicing my ability to, I don't know, what's the word? Filter myself a little bit?
Contain.
Yeah. And I did a reasonable job.
So anyway, I guess this is our last episode because Justin's moving to New Zealand.
Yeah, I'm going to put my resume in for that
apply.
one. Mm-hmm.
That's right. He's going places.
Here's some
right.
examples.
He's uprooting his whole family. That's right. So how would you respond to this? Justin doesn't say anything.
I got it perfect.
Middle finger.
Where's the gift? Give me a gift.
Oh, a lot of people in your boat, man.
Mm-hmm.
Some cool MTX came out, and you know what? It's about time they had some Celestial stuff because it literally has been a while. So let's see. Stygian Steel Skin. Cool. I like it when the guard skills have MTX because they stand out a lot more. I find that even with like something like Molten Shell, and it's really in your face, I find I don't even notice when it's on. You know, when you have it on the left click or you have it on casting damage taken, whatever it's going to be. So I like the ones where the skills you don't notice. I don't know why I don't notice Molten Shell with its default thing, but the skills you don't notice when they get something that's nice. I really like the Stygian stuff, or Stygian, however you say it. Cold Snap, Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Love Shield MTX. Cold Snap got one. Wave of Conviction got a Celestial. The Winter Dragon Portal,
so
Justin,
cool.
Looks so cool. Right,
yeah, it does.
Right. And I am going to get this, the Celestial Offering. Did you see it?
I did, yep.
So in the game, I mean, there's more than 3 offerings in total in the game, but in terms of an actual skill gem, there's 3 offerings, right? That people mostly use for minions, but it's so cool because it is Celestial, but in the video, they showed 3 different skins for it per se. So depending on the offering you're using, it'll show up differently. Like one of them was more starry, one of them was more white, one of them was pink. And so I guess I'm assuming, because I haven't purchased it yet, that one of those offerings, maybe let's say Bone Offering, it's tied to the pink one. You know, I thought that was really cool how it kind of integrated all 3 into one.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't, in the store anyway, it doesn't seem like you can buy one just for Bone Offering, just for Spirit or Flesh Offering. So, and it seems like a weekly thing. Fan art stuff. There were some that really made me laugh in there. There's some pretty good ones. So I'm excited to see those on our YouTube channel.
I'm going to use one, and there's one of the Trial Master. It looks hilarious. I just can't figure out what he's doing with his left hand.
Who cares, Justin? You got to win.
I think it's hilarious. But I'm just like, is he?
He's in a penthouse position, legs way up there, crotches
so
busting out,
and the left hand is just gone
on the face.
I don't know where it is, and he's got a hilarious smile.
Yeah. Oh, there was actually some really good ones though. There was another one that really stood out to me as well. Oh man, there was some really interesting the Reso one. Oh, the Exalted Orb on the painting. Oh my goodness, so funny, funny. So, and then there's some boss screenshots. I didn't quite catch if those are GGG screenshots or fan screenshots. I assume they're GGG because those are angles I don't think you can get in the game, but I thought they were kind of neat. And then they had 4 other posts there that I didn't even know existed of boss screenshots. So pretty neat. But the biggest announcement or post that they made this week, in my opinion anyway, was stats. Once again, whoop, whoop, but for the Atlas passives. And I could be way off here, but as far as I remember, Maven joined us in January, and we are still in the second.
This is the second league with her.
This is the second league. So this is our second Atlas passive league.
Mm-hmm.
First one had Harvest the totally not canon way, and now it has, and then they redid it. So yeah, this is the second one, and I remember them putting out Atlas passive stats last time around. Now it's this time around, and I find it really interesting. It doesn't motivate me or change my opinion in any way. I might look at one a little bit closer, but at the end of the day, I'm like, fine, whatever. Did anything stand out to you there?
Not overly. I mean, Legion and Delirium are obviously very popular. I It's not a surprise the harvest is not, and better than anything in this entire post is the first person's response where he quotes. Can I just read what the
Read
quote is?
GGG's first.
So in part of this quote, or sorry, in part of the post from GGG, they say a noticeable change from 3.13 is how much of the dominance once asserted by Harvest has been lost. Much of this can likely be attributed to the Harvest changes in 3.14, though even with those changes, Harvest does still see considerable representation. And this person's response was, yes, the floor is made out of floor, which made me laugh because it is very, very true. Like, obviously that the changes had a big impact on Harvest. But that was my favorite part about the post. This stuff is really interesting. If I'm totally honest, this was way more interesting to me last league when it was all brand new. It was the first time we were looking at it. Now I look at it and I go, oh, yeah, okay. I can see, I can understand why some people went the route they went. I am a little surprised at how Abyss is like
at the bottom,
really low in almost all of them. Same with Metamorph, but yeah, they're fine. And then, sorry, just my last part with the one that is from the Uncharted realms. Don't care. Never seen them.
Yeah, that's right. That's not for us. Okay, that's just make believe. Those are things you
I
hear
don't think
in
those are
myths
real
and stories and children's stories you say at bedtime. That's right.
I'd love to know how many people have at least 2 points into the Uncharted realms, because that's not a stat you see.
How do you get it again?
You have to have beaten the Maven, and that's what unlocks it.
That's probably not too hard.
Well, I'm just saying.
Wait, she doesn't scale like Awakening level though, does she? No,
she doesn't.
No,
but I'm just curious how many people have any points into that.
It is kind of neat reading about a passive tree we've never seen before, though. I mean, that we've obviously respected it out of 100 different times. So what I was going to say was, like, for me, how I do my Atlas passives, and like, I've actually changed a lot, my opinion. I had written down in a book when January came out with all the different Atlas passives. I wrote down so that I wouldn't spend too much of my actual gameplay time figuring out which one I wanted. But I wrote down for each region, okay, these are the 5 that I want, right? The 5 major notables. And I went down in every region. I have it in my little Forever Exiled notebook you got me. Or I guess your wife got me. Thanks, Justin's wife. Can I say her name? No, I can't say her name. Justin's wife.
It's Christina. We've said it before.
Oh, have we? Thanks, Christina. I'm just thinking about your wife.
Just give me a minute.
Yeah, hang on. I'll be back in a sec. But no, so anyway, I had them all written down, but then I found, like, even just within one league, my preferences have totally changed. I have no even when it came to Syndicate, I had Syndicate rewards and where I wanted people to be positioned in that book as well. And I'm all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second, I love Tiny's trials. I get to spend currency that I'm too scared to spend in this trial. It's great. I'm having, and so all of a sudden it's like everything's changed, and my personal preferences have been changing so much, but I'm still not doing them based on, I'm doing it just because I want to. I play the game. I'm not a min-maxer. I like to just do, oh, that would be fun. Oh, I really like this content. Some of it's for the reward, but most of it is just because I like it in my day-to-day maps. Like when I get time to play, I'm playing 6 maps and then I'm too tired and I go to bed. So, when I see all these and the reasons that people do it, like I'm looking at Beyond, it's at the bottom a lot. I look at Abyss, it's at the bottom a lot. I look at, some of the other ones like Metamorph, it's at the bottom a lot. And well, maybe not a lot because there might only be in one tree, but some of them are in a couple and they're at the bottom. And I'm thinking, well, if I'm actually thinking about what the rewards are for a player that plays a ton, what am I getting from Beyond? Nothing. Like, sure, you get XP, but at some point you really don't care. Like, let's say you planned your character to 95. Okay, great. Like, if you don't care to get to 96, if it's going to be one node for 5% life, but you're never dying anyway, you really don't care. So you're not playing it for the XP. And what are you going to do? What do they call it when you fate? Like, you improve your weapon or you improve your breachstone, whatever that's called. Like, there's no value.
Especially when you have other comparable things that are, other options that are much better.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, in that specific one with Beyond, Legion's at the top, right? And which one's Beyond? I get
just
all
extra
the Bs
mobs
mixed up.
You get the little things that spawn on the ground and guys come out of it.
Right. Yes. And I could see Abyss. Like, I don't really see what people would be excited Abyss about. Because like
I
once
was
you get that
hoping you
one,
would actually see Abyss be higher because they had changed if you want the Stygian Vices and if you want the jewels, you were supposed, that was the drive was to say, hey, if you want the best versions of those,
yeah,
you got to play that content. I guess maybe it's just
must be the mapping experience.
maybe, or they just getting them anyway. Like maybe there just isn't a
Maybe.
need for them. Maybe they're finding they're getting them just fine. It surprised me how low it was. Abyss for sure.
You know what though? A lot of the communities zoom. Like I'm fine when my Abyss goes backwards. I'm like, oh, okay, this one's just going to be easy because I've already cleared that part of the map.
Maybe if it goes like a room backwards, not when it goes like half a map backwards.
Well, but but there's the potential. So people that play a lot could probably be like, yeah, I'm not even going to bother with it. It'll show up when it shows up, but I'm not going to encourage it. So there's probably a lot of different reasons, but I do kind of like seeing it. And I'm going to go, okay, some of these that are dominating. For me, though, I would always look like this graph or these graphs are spread out into standard, hardcore, standard solo self-found, hardcore solo self-found. I'm only looking at hardcore solo self-found. To me, those are like the more you have to be sure about what you're doing and you have to know why you're doing it. You can't die. You're definitely min-max. You know what I mean? Like they're not necessarily the smartest players, but you can't be hardcore solo self-found and get to 90 and be an idiot in the game.
Yeah, but you also see a very clear difference in something like Harvest. If you look at that one for a hardcore solo self-found, it's 50%, where the next one down is 33. Well, that makes sense because if you need certain like color crafts or there's certain things that you still do want to do Harvest for, it's just you're doing it with the understanding you're going to get less of whatever it is you're looking for.
Oh, definitely. But the for me, it's like they're going for things that are always going to be helpful to be sure they're getting great content and a great possibility of items, crafting ideas, stuff like that, like with Harvest.
Because you can't trade though. So I know where you're coming from and I agree with you, but
I guess trade. I never think of trade. Yeah. I never think
when
of
you're
trade.
thinking of trade though, then you may be thinking of it completely differently because you want currency.
Yeah. How do you go about, have you changed how you go about your passive, Atlas passives?
No, I literally on the fly go, oh, this one. I feel like this one. That's literally how I did it this whole league.
Did they fix you had an issue with Harbinger last league. Did you do that this league?
Mm-mm. I heard it was fine.
Oh, did you?
Okay. I would be much less worried about it with the changes that seem to have affected the stability or the strength of the game when I'm playing. So I probably would be fine with it. They did change it though, where it replaces it with like a, I don't know, like super buff version of one of the Harbingers.
Yeah. On a side note, and it's not, I don't know why I'm happy about it, but I'm happy Ritual got some love. It means their last league wasn't a bust.
Ritual's still fun.
I like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of neat. I enjoy them. They don't mean lots, but I really like that they do it, and I hope they keep doing it. The stat pages. I saw that they were getting slack. They were getting flack for
Excel
posting screenshots of using Excel. Oh, go shove it. Go do something.
People are always going to find something.
Oh my goodness.
Let the dogs bark.
It's about the numbers. You'll be fine. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, let the dogs bark.
I knew. I assumed that's where you were going with it.
Jerks. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Hi.
Welcome back.
I had a note that I wrote and I didn't understand it.
Yeah, that happens
but
a
I
lot.
do. But the very last thing at the bottom I thought was really cool. GGG always gets in crap for something from their community. And I mean, every community has their, praisers and their whiners. And sometimes one stands out more than the other and they take turns. It's just how any community goes per se, especially when you're asking for feedback and you respond. But I like that they still have this encouragement for feedback. And so they just write at the very end, let us know what you think is worth taking, what doesn't, why you would or wouldn't take things. We're excited to see how things change for 3.15 and beyond. And it's just nice to hear that encouragement, almost like the ignoring that feedback is negative, the illusion that feedback's always positive. And I like it when a company does that. And I'm proud of them for doing it because they get, our community is probably just like any other video game community. But to me, because I'm only in this community, it feels like it's such garbage sometimes. So I was proud of them.
That's a good way to end your post anyway, because then you're trying to direct the comments, trying to, give somebody somewhere to go, something to answer, a question to answer. It's smart.
And the people that want to say something but they don't actually have anything good to say. They're like, Excel? Why are you using Excel pictures? Anyway, yeah. So last week we were talking about a buddy, and I don't remember, and my apologies, I'm not trying to like push After Dark or anything, but I never remember our episodes. So I never remember if we talk about them in the normal episode or in After Dark. But we had a buddy. Can I use his name? So our buddy Josh, he sees us playing online lots. He knows we have a podcast about it, and he's gaming lots. He has other buddies that he plays with online. They play other games tons all the time, but he was talking about wanting to play PoE again. He'd love to start playing with us again. And I mean, how awesome would that be? We haven't seen him in forever. Lives on the other side of the world. And so he was looking at the game, and what did he just basically, I mean, he was talking to you, not to me, so I shouldn't be the one bringing this up, but basically he and he loves these kind of games. He loves lots of different games, but he's huge into these games, the grinding games, really good into theory crafting, taking things on. He said it was too much. He's
too confusing.
Just basically, it was like
too much
shrugged
stuff.
his shoulders. Yeah, shrugged his shoulders and passed on. And you mentioned that that's probably a really common response to this game.
It's I would imagine it would have to be, because you have to think the majority of people come into the game blind. To pick Path of Exile up blind is not. We've talked about it before. We have varying, degrees of what we think they should be doing to help new players. But when I talked to him, I realized it's clearly not enough when you have a player who just looks at it and goes, I don't know where I would start. It just feels like it's too overwhelming, and I can go pick up another game and feel like within a day I'm going to enjoy it. I'm worried I'm not going to get that out of Path of Exile. It's pretty fair.
It is.
Pretty fair.
And I think it starts right at the beginning. Like, there are going to be some people that min-max. And like, I have people in my guides that say, hey, how do you do this? How do you do this? How do you do this? How do you take advantage of this? And I'm like, you know what? If you're new, don't worry about it. Play one build at a time. Focus on your build. You're probably going to forget half of what you need to know as you keep going, and you're going to have to reference stuff over and over again just to remember how bleed works, just to remember how mods work, right? Because you're learning tons about just the general game when you look at map mods. You know what I mean? Just when you like an enemy destroys you out of nowhere and you have no idea what's going on, you're trying to learn, what is this? These are essences? What is that? And you discovering the difference between an alch and an essence, and you're, like, as a new player. So there are going to be some people, though, that just want to know everything and think that they can. And on character number 2, they're going to destroy the game. But when you are a very new player, and I mean, one of the criticisms I had when my wife first played this game was, she's like, well, what's the difference between characters? And I'm like, well, a lot.
Literally everything.
Your starting point on the tree, which is a big deal, and your 3 ascendancy choices, which your build will always revolve around. But you don't know anything about that.
Show that at the beginning. Like when we played last Epoch, I was like, why? Why can't they just do this? Show me what these characters have the potential to be.
And yeah, maybe in a general way, because I could see them if they showed the whole tree.
No,
and
don't
don't
show
know
the whole
anything
tree.
about
Just give
the
me
game.
a general arc of like what this type of character could be, or something.
There's a small description there, but it's definitely not.
Has nothing to do with the ascendancies at all.
No. And so, but there's that, and then all of a sudden you start leveling. Like, if you have the tutorial on, after you beat, is it Hillock or Hillock? How do you pronounce it? I should listen.
Hillock.
Anytime after you beat Hillock, if you keep tutorials on, you're not allowed into Lion-Eyes Watch. There's a big red wall, and you have to allocate your first passive point. I like that kind of stuff. It forces you to interact with content that's very important. Hey, this is your passive tree. You leveled up. Learn how to allocate a point. But on this tree, sure, your first point is one of 2 nodes, but you don't even zoomed in. You're like, oh, where am I going?
Yeah.
I don't even know what my skill is that I just picked up that you told me.
Yeah,
is that
there's no button to get that point back, and so then you're stressing about.
You're nervous, yeah. And then it's like, then you see all your paths, but then there's nothing about the passive tree after that.
They could bring in the Chinese thing, and I feel like it would be so much better for new players.
Oh, like those 3 guided archetypes?
Yep.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, and now these aren't new arguments, and they're definitely not. It's not new news to GGG. I really think that PoE 2 is going to... I would be so baffled and disappointed, and I would probably lose all my trust in the company if they came out with PoE 2 and the tutorial system for a new player was around what this is. Yeah, if it wasn't just completely redone, reworked, and reinvented and good, I I'd be so surprised. So surprised. So I don't know. Like I remember being really excited in 3.0 when they first introduced or reintroduced this tutorial system that they have. And their FAQ, their help section is actually pretty good. It does miss out some major information. And I'm not talking like min-maxing details, but some like pretty important end game stuff. Even just like general leagues that have been added that aren't in there. But the normal day-to-day gaming experience for a casual player that'll play 1 or 2 evenings a week and, slowly because they don't know how to play the game, there's really nothing as to how life scales with mods or anything like it's overwhelming. Maybe the game's only made for certain people and they shouldn't care about trying to reach that many people. I don't know, but I was disappointed when it was too much for Josh.
Can I give you a quick side funny note regarding Josh before we announce our private league? My 11-year-old has to do a project for school where he's supposed to interview for a career. They're doing like career stuff. So he's supposed to interview us about our career. There's a bunch of questions like, what did you have to do to find this career? What kind of money do you usually make? What's the type of stuff you do? Blah, 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 blah. He came to me and he's like, do you think Uncle Josh would let me interview him instead? I was like, I'm not going to say what his job is. He does have a very cool job. But I was like, you little turd. Of course, he said he would. So Logan's like super pumped. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. So you're going to do that online sometime?
Yeah, we're going to do a Zoom call and it's recorded and he'll get to show it to his class. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That must make Josh feel all tickled pink.
Yeah, he was pretty excited about it. Let's talk private league. So we have a private league. It's starting June 11th. It's starting this Friday.
If you're listening the day this comes out, it's 5 days away.
Yeah, it's coming out a week today. So yes, the 11th, June 11th. It will start at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it will run for 10 days. So we always put the information for it on Discord. So if you want to join the private league, it's open to everybody. You got to hop onto our Discord to find the information. The reason we do that is not because we want to force people into the Discord, because you're more than welcome to leave.
We're not going to take offense.
I don't want to post it anywhere public. This is a community thing. We do it with the people who listen to Forever Exiled or who, regulars. We don't want it being something that we're not going to post it on Reddit. It's not going to go into the forums. It is for people who are part of our community. So if you want to join it, anybody can join it. You got to pop onto Discord to get the info. You can find the link under announcements. And if Discord's not your thing, feel free to just bounce afterwards. But Private League will run for 10 days. And we did some weird things with this one, which I'm really excited about. So we've in the past done no mods at all. Most of the time we just do hardcore. You just got to not die. And, that's always been fun because we watch deaths.
Typical hardcore, yeah. And every single private league we've done, or maybe I forget the first ones, but this is basically like Justin and I hanging out. Maybe we've burnt out while he has, he's had his thing of PoE. He needs like a nice short little thing. It's like, okay, what would we both hate, but and really enjoy laughing at each other for?
Right. And not hate enough to not play, but just go like, what the hell were we thinking? And hardcore was enough. Hardcore was enough for that, for both of us. We're not hardcore players.
That's typically what we do. And this is like a league for Justin and I to play, but we open it up to whoever
we want to play with
join.
everybody. It's way more fun. And so this time Tyler said that we should drop the rares and magics. So there's a mod that says no magics and rares can drop. So no blues and yellow items can drop. So and this was through multiple After Darks where we had these conversations. So our mods are that there are no rares and magics. They cannot drop. They may still come from ultimatums. We don't actually know. There's a lot of questions that came up on Discord where I was like, I don't know. We'll find out in like 10 days.
Yeah.
But we also decided, Tyler, I don't even know how we got onto it, but we also decided that there was going to be no stash. So there is no rares and no yellows. So no blues and yellows, no rares, magics, whatever you want to call them. You will have to craft your items. But in addition to that, you do not have access to the stash tab, which means you have to control your inventory. I have no idea why, but this has excited me more than any of our past private leagues. The idea of having to manage the inventory is terrifying.
It seems so weird.
It's so bizarre.
Especially as you get into endgame. You're like trying to keep on your fragments. Your goddesses don't stack.
Maps.
What else doesn't stack? Divine Vessel.
Stack.
Better go do that right away. Right. Yeah. And so all of a sudden you're like not complaining about how many maps are dropping. You're like, no, just one map. I just want one map, a map. That's right. And you finally get this wicked, like over 100 life and 3 plus 20 resists, but it's one socket. And you're like,
Yeah, but you had to craft that too because it didn't drop. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's very different for us. I had one of the most favorite times this week listening to people complain about it because that just makes me happy. I'm fine with that.
That's why we do it.
I get that some people don't want to play this because even I go like, do I want to do this? But
it'll probably be the last time we do it.
It might be. We might not like it and not do it again, and that's fine. But one thing I actually like about it, sorry, not that I like about it, but that I took from listening to when Badger did his private league, and he kind of said to people, you need to get out of your comfort zone. The idea in this league, you can't play it just the way you play every league. You just can't. You can't come into this and just go, I'm going to play it exactly how I play every other league. We at least gave you softcore, right? We don't, thank God, because both of us in After Dark were like, it's hard enough. We cannot play hardcore because I will be gone the very first death. 100%. I'm out.
Yep.
So we went softcore, and you have to play this game so much differently. I had a fun chat with Brittleknee because I messaged her and I was like, tell me what to play. Because
did you?
Yeah, we had a chat about like what, like how much it shifts the way you play the game when you have a single inventory and you have to craft your gear. So you have to. So
you're doing minions.
Well, minions is the easiest go-to ever, but also keep in mind, we'll talk. I do want to talk to you about like what we're going to play, but we'll do that in After Dark because this episode's already starting to get long. But there's prizes. So, and we shifted our prizes too. So we've done lots of different ways of trying to do prizes. And the goal with when we do prizes, we love giving away points, but we want to try and give points to many people. We don't want 1 or 2 people to come in and just clean house.
Sorry, I really got to take off my hoodie. I'm really hot. I can't wait. I know we're going to finish in like 2 minutes, but I can't wait.
Seriously.
It's too hot.
Oh my gosh.
Great. When you take off your like outer garment and then you like show the world half of your torso, but you're trying to pretend like it's all normal, but you quickly shove it down. You pretend it never happened, but it's definitely not a yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're like flexing it the whole time. Your bum's accidentally tight. Yeah. Oh, anyway, so sorry for the skin.
We try to give we want to give as many people a prize as we can. So what we did this time is it's not even top class. It's top 3 per class are going to win money prizes in PoE points. We have top level and deepest delve. If they want, get a Forever Exiled notepad, which nobody in the world has except me and Tyler.
That's right.
And then we've got a lottery again. This is a lottery that's going to be a little harder to get into because you still have to be higher than Tyler. And now he's not good, but he still won't die and be gone. So he can be persistent.
That's right.
And just slowly level up.
And if you are used to listening to this podcast, I am a pro at picking normal items, but with the sockets I want over rares any day. So I'm a pro.
But he has to play Scion.
Normal
Scion
only
still.
Leveling. Yeah, but I've been playing Scion for so long. I'm a pro. Long ago, if you're a new listener, long ago,
that's a strong word.
Justin and I, when we were first starting our hardcore leagues, we decided that Justin hated the Scion. He thought that she was the dumbest thing in the world. Yeah, I disagree. And so we challenged each other. We both had to start as a Scion, but then you could go in whatever direction you wanted. And if you got over a certain
75.
level, then the next hardcore league, you didn't have to be a Scion anymore.
Even in that same league, you could re-roll in that league if you wanted to, but you didn't have to do it anymore. Tyler has yet to get that.
Well, but at least it's been hardcore. It was hardcore.
Yeah, but we dropped it to 70. Come on.
Well, just recently we dropped it to 70. Anyway, yes, I still have to be a Scion, and I'm going to be, and I'm probably going zombies, because why not?
Obviously.
Just. So I'm excited. No stash. Never done it before.
Me neither.
I don't even care about the rare thing, like the no rares, no magic. The no stash to me is the weird thing.
Yeah. I'm excited to try something different. And I think, 99% of the feedback has been positive and people excited about that. The stash part is what's throwing most people. They're like, oh my God, like you have to you really have to switch up how you want to play with your inventory. So it'll start June 11th. It's going to run for 10 days. It does run concurrently with Gauntlet. We're not competing with the people that play that. So if you're playing good luck. If you want to play our league, you're welcome to it. And it'll run for 10 days. And then we've got lots of awards. If you're looking for more information, hop onto our Discord. Under the announcements, you'll see the information for it, as well as the link to join. And it's open to everybody. We'll add more slots whenever we need to. So I'm excited for it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, man. You're going to suck.
I am totally going to suck. Yep.
Oh, I really want you to broadcast, man. I wish you would. He's such a stickler with broadcast. Yeah, I want broadcast.
I just don't like the broadcast.
I know you don't, but I wish you would, because I want to see you suck.
Maybe for a little bit on the weekend I will, if we're playing.
I wish it was starting today. Because I'm pretty excited about it.
I am already. I was looking at my calendar going like, how do I keep Friday empty? Because it's already full up to noon. I'm literally packed right up until noon. And I'm trying to think like, how do I just go, no, I'm pushing you guys till next week? Because my goal is to start at noon.
Are you picking up the kids from school on Friday?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So we're both going to do our best to be logged in at noon, and then we got to take off at 2 o'clock to go. I mean, I'll see you at school.
That takes me like 5 minutes. So I'll be down for like no time at all.
Well, yeah. Oh, wait, you're not. Oh, you're going to play after school after they get home?
100%.
Oh, you little sneak. I'm not going to be able to play until they go to bed.
It's just for Friday. So yeah, my kids will survive.
I love my kids though. So
okay. Uh-huh. All right.
Anyway, spend time with them.
If you're interested in joining the private league, come on Discord. You'll find it. We're going to have a good time. We'll be in General 2121. Always are.
Yes, that's right. Good call.
Starts June 11th. We're going to wrap this up. This is our wrap up time. This is the music's kicking in right now.
I want to try and say something rappy. Oh, is it? Oh,
what
cool.
do you?
Well, no, you said wrap it up. So I was trying to think of like a, but I couldn't think of any. No words came to mind.
The noises weren't great either. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us for episode 86 of Forever Exile, the Path of Exile podcast. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
I'm T-Bone. Huh? Get it? That's my rap name.
No, it's like T-Bird, our new patron. So close.
Hey, T-Bird. Thanks, T-Bird. Love ya. I'm Tyler Recker of Days, by the way.
For our patrons, we'll catch you guys in After Dark. Everybody else, we'll catch you in episode 87 next week. If you're looking for more information, we got a website down below, foreverexiled.com. We're on Twitter, foreverexiled82. Hop on our Discord if you're not on it and hang out. And if you're looking for information about Patreon, which again gets you access to After Dark, information down below. Bye.